Tracer 900 seat riser kit fitting guide. If you've never taken the seat off before, stick the key in there. While you're turning it, lift the back seat off. To get the front seat off, if you've never done it before, there's a rubber bung blocking the way in there, so you need to put your fingers in, take the rubber bung out, and then there's a little flippy thing there, and then just pull the seat off, and that's that. We'll need here to loosen these with a 10mm spanner, bolt, whatever, and regular hex head socket. So that's what I'm going to be doing here. So basically that and these two bolts are going to be getting lifted, and I can't do it while I've got the camera on, but basically it's that, and I'm gonna plan to lift this out. It may be possible to do it by just lifting this a little bit and wiggle it in there. It's a bit vague on the instructions, but that's the plan. So this is the jk3d bit. As far as I understand it, this goes under the bit where the hex head bolts go. The original bits that go through the back go somehow in here, one way or the other, with that facing the bottom. I need to work out which way round. Hopefully that'll be evident though. So this is what it looks like with the hex bolts out, and I'm about to use a 10mm socket. I was going to use a wrench, but it was going to be a nightmare to do, so here's a 10mm socket, and I'm just going to take both of these off, is the theory. I have loosened it slightly with the wrench, so this looks super easy with a thing, but I'll get back to you. So I've taken out one, as you see. The other one's just right at the edge, and this looks like it just comes out like that. This is it with nothing in there. I'm going to go pull the rubber bits out now. So this is it out. That's the back, that's the front. According to the instructions, I've got to take the metal bits out, which they say should slide, but they're not sliding that easily, so I'm going to get pliers, and they say to use pliers for the rubber bit. So I'm going to take this apart, and then plan is this goes in there. Apparently this is the new kit, which is a wider bit which should go at the back and then the thinner bit at the front. And according to all the videos I can find online, the hole should go at the bottom like that. So let's do. Right, so this is it apart. This needs to go in. So the metal bits I just pushed through separately, then the rubber parts second with a bit of push, pull and pliers work. There was no finesse there at all. So these need to go in next. Do have a look on the jk3d website. Apparently the wider bit needs to go to the back and the thinner bit to the front where the seat is. Don't know exactly why, but have a look out for that. If the front and the back are the same, it's an older one, so read the website basically. So try this. Okay, so one in. They are quite stiff, so I found basically if you kind of squish it a little bit a few times first, it loosens it up. They're sort of a plasticky rubber and quite hard. If you kind of squish it, get it in on one axis, I found basically my technique was once it's sort of wedged in on one axis, going side to side, prod it through from the top with a chopstick. Works for me. So this is it going back in. As you can see, I've stuck the rubber bit under the metal bit there. Now they do recommend this doing in an empty fuel tank, and I've got a full fuel tank, so basically what I've had to do is sort of lift it a little bit, just sort of pull up while pushing that in there, which is almost in position. So my basic plan, unless I tell you in a minute, is I'm going to just try and wiggle the bolt in there and there while lifting the tank up so that the hole at the back aligns with it and get it all together. I can't do that because I've got nobody to hold my camera, so see what happens. Okay, so halfway through, Plan version 1 didn't work because the plastic bit, I tried to do these bolts first and this just kept rocking about, and I ended up dropping the plastic bit from below down in behind the battery, which is a faff, so nobody's going to see this, so I've stuck tape around the plastic bit to hold it on, and I've just loosely put the hex bolts in. I've not tightened them down hard, and I'm going to now try again with these bolts while lifting up the tank. You've got a bit of wiggle room there to align it and get them in, so we'll see what happens. So putting it back together, one thing I have found is that the angles are a bit funky on this, and I don't want to end up threading this, so I've had to have about 10 attempts at this, but I think it's right now. So weirdly, this one I'm having to kind of come at an upward angle at the thread, and this one feels downward. I'm not sure if this has changed the angle because of all this weird rubber grommeting stuff or whatever, but just to be a bit careful. I've had to play about with angling the holes and things, just using pokey tool just to get it there, but just word of warning, but it should get there with. Now another thing, just doing the hex bolts up again. Now they do recommend putting thread lock on it. I'm actually just going to test it out, and if I actually like the mod, I'm going to buy some longer bolts, because as they say on the site, you've lost a lot of height on them and you're reusing the original bolts, so they're now going to be 6 mils shorter, which feels a bit suspect from my point of view. So I'll be buying longer bolts if this works okay, but I'll give it a short run later just to test I like the ride height. Just while I remember, some of the Tracer 9, not the 900 guides, say you need to take all the side panels and stuff off. Not had to do that for this. This is a 900 GT year 2020. Okay, ran out of lights last night, so I've stuck the little rises in the lower position. There's also like Velcro you can put there and there, so you can move the plastic up and down, so it's connected on by Velcro and glue. You're meant to have given it a good wash first, and I've just realised I've forgotten to hold it down 30 seconds like they say, so I'll go and do that now.